Alrighty, here we go. Radio check, radio check. Alright, you guys should be able to hear me. Thanks everyone for tuning in and welcome along to the coverage here in Azerbaijan. We are 30 minutes away from the start of the free practice 2 session. We'll be getting underway very shortly. Apologies for we've got a slightly different setup for the data while it gets loaded up. So yeah, that should be ready. The data will get ready fairly soon. But yeah, we've got the standings there up from free practice 1, and as you can see, it was a McLaren 1-2. Lando Norris getting 18 laps done in, the most out of any driver, tied with Gabriel Bortoleto. Piastri getting 5 laps less than his teammate because he had some issues with his car at the start of the session, but they got resolved later on when the red flag was brought out. And apart from that, a fairly standard FP1 session, really. We did have a really long wait for the red flag to be called off, but I'm sure that was a one-off occasion. We're not going to get that happening again, so should be okay on that front. Yeah. Hello, Aminesh. Hello, Shivanash. Hello, Gato. Charles on another poll, maybe. What happened in FP1? Well, we had a red flag called because there was a bit of debris at turn 16, which resulted in a really long wait, actually. I don't know what the FIA exactly were doing, but it looked like they were checking curbs and stuff like that to make sure they were all properly stuck to the ground. So if you exclude the long red flag, not really much exciting happened. We had drivers going off down the escape road. We had drivers locking up. Max Verstappen, in fact, locked up going in towards turn 15 on a flying lap, and it's a fairly standard free practice 1 session here in Baku. The drivers are getting to grips with the circuit. They're making a few mistakes here and there, learning from them, and the teams are also modifying their setups. So pretty standard stuff. Yeah. Charles on another pole. Well, see, this is the thing. Charles could get another pole position, but the McLarens just look supremely strong. They are looking so strong that they might actually break the record of the earliest possible constructor win, or the earliest mathematical constructor win. So if they get a 1-2 finish this weekend or a 1-3 finish this weekend, they win the World Constructors Championship, and they will be the first team in history to seal the deal and win the championship with 7 races left to go. So yeah, it would be pretty incredible if they could do that. And that just goes to show you how quick the McLarens are and how consistent they are at all different types of circuits. So we shall see if Piastri can, or if Piastri and Norris can stay out ahead of Charles Leclerc. Leclerc is, well, famously very good at this circuit. He did have his one, I am stupid moment back in 2019, but if you exclude that, he has been just absolutely fantastic around here every single time, and he's got 4 pole positions in a row from 2021 all the way till 2024. So he'll be doing his best to try and keep that streak running, but of course he'll try to break the streak of him not actually getting a race win. The Ferrari wasn't too far off. He was only it was half a second off, but normally that gap closes up a lot more when we get into FP2, which will be getting underway in 25 minutes. Yeah. Yuki locked in. Yeah, Yuki. Well, the reasoning for that, if you missed FP1, Max, that lap that Yuki Tsunoda set was on a fresh set of tires. Max Verstappen's lap was on a used set of tires, and he was on a flying lap with a fresh set, but unfortunately locked the rears, going into turn number 15, and had to bail out of his lap and abort. So Max's lap was going to be quicker. He just didn't finish it because he made a mistake. So yeah, Yuki Tsunoda still not quicker than Max by any stretch of the imagination, but on this occasion it looked like that at least. Any major upgrade from Ferrari? No team have brought any sort of major upgrade. They've all brought little tweaks here to the cooling ducts and stuff like that. But apart from that, it's pretty standard. Well, just no upgrades really, because we've got only a few races left of this regulation package. Captain Bricks 001, F1 Gamer, happy 1000th Grand Prix. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is my 100th Grand Prix commentating, which is pretty cool. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming along for the journey. 100 Grand Prix is kind of crazy, really. Started back in 2020. I'd say my first proper commentary was the Russian Grand Prix in 2020, and then since then it's just been kind of wild. Yeah. Okay. If you had to take one good exclusive driving skill from Stroll, what would it be? Well, I think Stroll is pretty adaptable. You know, in changing conditions, he can adapt his driving style to whatever suits the car, whatever the car needs at a moment's notice, and that is a very sort of sought after skill in the Formula One world, where we've heard loads of stories of drivers not being able to adapt to cars because the brakes are slightly different, one car understeers more than the other, or whatever. The ability to change your driving style, adapt your technique on the fly, I think is a pretty good skill that Lance Stroll has, and it's helped him out in quite a few difficult conditions. Yeah. Okay. Mm. Got going. What team is going to nail 2026? Um, well, my prediction is that it would be Williams, but I really don't know. So, well, I mean, nobody really knows, but my prediction is Williams. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Williams are going to be World Constructors Championship champions in 2026. Okay. George Russell was sick. I don't know if that sick as in like throwing up, or is that as in he put together a really good lap, because George Russell's lap was pretty nice actually. Only a millisecond back from Charles Leclerc, so that's pretty fantastic to say the least there from George. He's got a nice new helmet as well for Baku, has George Russell, so yeah, should be good for him. Rene Lieveld, I hope I said that correctly, but thank you for joining the channel member. It really is appreciated. Goes a long way to helping out the channel. Yay. Good afternoon indeed, folks. He was sick as in ill on the media day. Yeah, I mean, sometimes drivers are just ill. They're flying around the world. You can get um, you can get stomach problems or whatever, or just jet lag. Really, jet lag also for Formula One drivers is pretty tough to deal with. Every 2 weeks, every 1 week, you're flying to a different part of the world with maybe a slightly different time zone, and you got to deal with that, adapt to that, and then also perform at the top of your game as well. It's a tough world. Okay. Been following you for a while, very much. Oh well, thank you. Yeah, hope that you've been enjoying the coverage. I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm guessing you have then if you have been following for a while. In fact, Baku last year was the stream that we hit 100k at as well. So, pretty special, I'd say. Baku hit 100k at it. It's my 100th Grand Prix as well. Pretty cool. Let me just update this like counter as well, and then we should be getting underway with the rest of the coverage very shortly. So let's get underway then. Right, that light counter is updated. All right, so let's run through some more stats and stuff that I have downloaded. Oh, let's there. Okay, so we have got the qualifying head-to-heads actually for a lot of the teams, not all of them, but looking at the qualifying head-to-heads here, you can see that Aston Martin, the Aston Martin team, Fernando Alonso has outqualified Lance Stroll every single time. Kind of mind-blowing. Really, like, just absolutely fantastic. Oh, you've gifted five memberships as well. Thank you very, very much, Renee. I hope I'm saying that correctly as well. Do hope you, really big, thank you. Okay, I think I can donate some memberships as well. Let's see. I think that's how it works, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, I can send 5 memberships. There we go. Let's gift 5 memberships. I think 5 random people that are watching the stream will also get 5 memberships. That's pretty nice. Okay. Getting back to the qualifying head-to-heads, we've got George Russell with 15 times that he's outqualified Kimi Antonelli, Max Verstappen 14 times he's outqualified Yuki Tsunoda, and Charles Leclerc as well, 12-4. That's the big one, really. At the start of the season, I would have expected Leclerc to do a little bit better than Lewis Hamilton, but I wasn't expecting him to just, by the looks of it, totally destroy him in terms of his qualifying performance. 12-4 is, not the best showing for Lewis, is it? I mean, maybe things can improve, but I think if we carry on to the next couple, if you look at this, you can see Hamilton on those 4 occasions that he has outqualified Charles Leclerc, fairly slim margins compared to the gaps that Leclerc has outqualified him by. Bahrain, Saudi Arabia really stand out, huge gaps there. I'm sure Hamilton's confidence that those circuits were also at an all-time low, but yeah, it's going to take, we'll see how he can bounce back, really, and if he can deliver, but I don't know, I'm not feeling so confident for Lewis Hamilton this weekend. I feel the gap is going to be quite big, especially because I'd say this is one of Leclerc's best circuits. He's got 4 consecutive poles. Even when he hasn't had the quickest car, his pace has still always been there, always been, just incredible at Baku. I think, this one might just be another one adding to the tally of Charles Leclerc outqualifying Lewis Hamilton. F1 Gamer, does giving memberships cost money for you since you're a channel? No, YouTube gives me, every month gives me like 5 or 10 memberships that I can just give out for free during live streams. So, I just press the button to give them out. Yeah. I can't select the names, it just does it randomly. I do apologize. Yeah, that's sort of just how the gifting things work. It's just a bit random. All right. Let's see, what other stats have we got to look at? Yeah, McLaren as well. When Piastri does outqualify Lando Norris, if you don't look at Silverstone or Hungary, every other occasion he's outqualified Lando Norris by quite a big margin, to be honest. Really, really big. And then Lando Norris's qualifying performances, that's where he sort of had the edge last season. Last season, I think it was 20-4, like 20 times to 4 times. Lando Norris outqualified Oscar Piastri, and this season it's Piastri's having the upper hand by the looks of it. So Piastri's qualifying performance, he saw that as his weakness. He's now worked on that and improved it. And here he is fighting at the top of his game. We've got George Russell. It's pretty self-explanatory here. He's just sort of destroyed Kimi Antonelli. Fair enough, but because George Russell is a very, very good qualifier and Antonelli is a rookie, but I don't really know. Antonelli should have improved a little bit by now, I'm guessing, but who knows? Yeah, I think that's enough then of that. Also sounds bad on the radio. Hope he sounds better. Yeah, I mean it'd be nice for the drivers to obviously not get ill or anything. But the data, we'll have the data up in about 20 seconds, folks, and then I'll get rid of this little graphic that we've got. I mean it's an alright graphic, isn't it? I haven't made it. It's just from the F1 Instagram. But Yeah, the Alpines, look at that. 2.5 seconds back for Franco Colapinto, 2.7 seconds back for Pierre Gasly. They are so far back compared to everyone else. I mean, it's just, yeah, I mean, you got to feel for them. This is probably going to be one of their worst races because, at least at Monza, they have the option to just take off every little bit of downforce that they have on their car and get the top speed back. But here in Baku, you still need a little bit of top speed. And, yeah, they really do struggle with it. So, also, I don't know what is going on here. I don't know why the data's glitching out like this again, but I'm going to give it a quick refresh, and the screen will be back in about 10 seconds or so. This will be a horrible weekend. Yeah, it's just not going to be great, really. Their performance is just not really up there in terms of top speed, and that's why it's going to be a bad weekend, really. Pretty straightforward, but in 2026 they'll have their own. They'll have a new engine. Maybe that'll mix things up. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, let's also get rid of this little text data loading shortly because it has just loaded. And yeah, track temperature still staying at 32 degrees Celsius here, folks. So it's not getting too hot. And the Pirelli C6 tires will be very thankful for that because they would, they'd get worn out in about half a lap. These soft tires if it was 50 degrees Celsius. So it's a nice change for them to not be overheating too much. But yeah. Folks, if you do have any questions, then be sure to let me know. F1 Gamer, what's this website? This website is, well, it's not a website, it's an app. It's called Multiviewer, but you do need an F1 membership for it. So, yeah, it's up to you if you want to get that. There's a link in the description, though. You can use it, and it helps out the channel. And the same thing, if you do want to watch the Formula 1 coverage, not just listen to me commentate about it, what you can do is get Surfshark VPN using the link in the description, and then you pay $2 a month for Surfshark VPN. Then you join an Austrian VPN server, and once you've done that, you go onto Google, you search ORF F1, and you enjoy Formula 1 coverage. Yeah. F1 Gamer, what are your predictions for the weekend? My predictions for the weekend. I predict that Charles Leclerc is going to get a podium. I predict that... I predict that 2 of the rookies are going to be crashing in the race, and I predict that... Let's have a think. I don't know. My final prediction is going to be that Fernando Alonso is going to get... actually, no. My prediction is going to be Max Verstappen is on the front row. Yeah. Those are my predictions. F1 Gamer, thanks for the gifted sub. No problems. Dissimulate. Thanks for watching the coverage. Yeah. Alright, hello Paul, nice to see you back buddy, and hello OG Ninja as well. What are the chances of Charles winning? Well, it's pretty tough to predict the chances of anyone winning around here in Baku, just with the amount of chaos that has happened. We've had drivers win from 10th position here, we've had drivers win from pole position, drivers win from 2nd, 3rd. It's all a little bit up in the air on who's really going to win this Grand Prix. Because we've had 8 races here. Out of the 8 races, we've had, I think, a safety car in nearly all of them, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, pretty much a 100% chance of a safety car. And, yeah, if we get a safety car, that means we get, surprise pit stops, we get unexpected action. So it's just good news all around, really. So, there's no way that I'm going to be able to predict who's going to win this race. What's the exact website for ORF? I don't know the exact website. It's, if you search ORF F1, it's normally just the first one that comes up. F1 Game, are you hoping for a double papaya DNF? Not really. I mean, I'd like to see a battle between the two. If they're both battling and they drive into each other and they both DNF, yeah, I would. That would be awesome. But I think that I would like to see a battle between the two. The current drivers' championship is still, you know, quite heavily in the favour of Oscar Piastri. Every race that goes by, Piastri breathes a sigh of release. Well, every race that goes by where Piastri is still, you know, 30 or more points clearer of his teammate, I'm sure I'll be very, very happy with that, because, well, you know, you can see he's currently 31 points ahead of Lando Norris. Even with, you know, the switcheroo in Monza, he gave his teammate 3 extra points. You know, it wasn't the end of the world for him. You know, if it was a matter of a race win between first and second, I feel like he may not have done that. But because that would have been 7 points in the championship. But yeah, he's gave up 3 points. So, well, he gave up 3 points, but it's also technically he has a net loss of 6. Like, Norris gained 6 points on him, or gained 3 points in the championship, whereas Piastri could have gained 3 points on him. So the championship gap could have been 37 points. Now it's 31 because of Piastri switching that around. But we'll see if he comes to regret that later on in the season. Okay. What else have you got? What other messages have we got in the chat here? If McLaren get a P1 or P1, P2 finish, does that guarantee the World Constructors' Championship for them this year mathematically? That is correct. Veloich, I don't know how to say that, sorry. Anyway, yeah, if they get a 1-2 or if they get a 1-3, then they guarantee that they win the Constructors' Championship mathematically. I think if they don't get a 1-2 or a 1-3, they've got to outscore Mercedes by 9 points, and Red Bull by 33, and lose less than 12 points to Ferrari. Like, it's a bit of a complicated calculation. Like, there's no point really doing it because McLaren have already won the Constructors. Like, there's not really much question about it. So, yeah. Reckon there'll be any safety cars this weekend? Oh yeah, for certain, for sure. There's always safety cars around here in Baku, isn't there? Alright, let's see, what other things have we got to look at? Oh yes, the Constructors' battle for 5th position. Let me just bring the Constructor standings up. Yeah, so we have got Williams on 86 points, Aston Martin on 62, RB 1 point behind them on 61 points, and we've got Sauber on 55. I think Haas are a little bit out of the running, to be honest. They're nearly half of the number of points as Williams, and yeah, with less than 7 races left to go, it's not really... I don't think it's really possible that Haas are going to be outscoring Williams unless, you know, Haas find themselves up on the podium on multiple occasions, which is highly unlikely, to say the least. But Sauber, RB, Aston Martin especially, RB and Aston Martin especially, yeah, they are in the fight for that 5th position. You know, this circuit should be pretty good for the Williams team. We had Albon did quite well, actually, in FP1, and you know, typically the Williams are good in a straight line. They weren't so good at Monza, surprisingly enough, but maybe that'll change this weekend with slightly higher downforce being used. The sort of efficiency of the car is a lot more important. Whereas in Monza, it's much more about just outright top speed. Here in Baku, you still do need downforce, so you need the best possible, you know, trade-off or best sort of efficiency, downforce per amount of drag. And yeah, if the Williams team has the best of that in the low downforce configuration, then it'll be smooth sailing for them. But Aston Martin aren't going to be doing so well. They're typically good at high downforce tracks. So Singapore, you know, that'll be their opportunity to gain a bunch of points back on the Williams team, and Williams will try to extend as many points out as they can this weekend. We've got RB as well. They were pretty good out in Monza, and maybe they will... Well, maybe they'll continue on. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, no, they were good in Zandvoort. Sorry, they weren't good in Monza. I have just been remembering incorrectly. Yeah, they were good in Zandvoort. So that means that they're good at high downforce tracks again. So Singapore is their opportunity to strike. We'll see how it works out for them. Thoughts on a Ferrari podium? I mean, maybe we'll get one. I think that we will. I think Leclerc will be on the podium. I don't think it's going to be Hamilton, to be honest. F1 Gamer or me XL X Lump. I don't know. Is that message to me or not? I don't know what X Lump is, but yeah. McLaren has the constructors. Yeah, there's no sort of question about that. McLaren had the constructors about the halfway point of the season, to be honest. Oh, excellent. But yeah, thank you to who gifted me the membership. No problem, folks. I think once I get the next 5 coming through, I'll send them out during the race stream maybe. What's the race strategy this weekend? It looks to be a 2-stop strategy. It's going to be probably medium hard or medium hard or something along those lines, because the soft tyres are definitely not going to last this Grand Prix. But we might be getting a lot more pit stops because for the simple fact that actually I'm going to have to find this actually, but basically Pirelli released these images, right? Where are they? Yeah, here they are. Okay, so wrong one. Yeah, so this is the data from last year's Grand Prix, folks. Oh, wait, let me adjust the size. This is way too big. Okay, so this is the data from last year's Grand Prix, and last year's medium tyres, okay, on average, so you can see there, the medium tyres on the right-hand side of the image, the medium tyres lasted on average 13.8 laps. That's what the drivers did on their stint. They'd do one medium tyre stint on average, they'd pit around lap number 13, lap number 14. Those medium tyres are this year's hard tyres. So if the hard tyres can only do 14, 15 laps at a max, then we may even get a 3-stop strategy. Yeah, who knows how that will work out. That could be pretty interesting. It also depends on track temperatures. I've been saying for quite a while, pretty much in the entire duration of the FP1 stream. It depends very, very heavily on what the track temperature is. Currently it's 32 degrees Celsius. If for whatever reason it increases up to 50 degrees Celsius, the clouds go away, the sun starts warming up the asphalt, then 3 stops are really, really on the cards, because these tyres are not particularly durable whatsoever. But currently out in Baku in Azerbaijan, there are clouds filling up the sky and there's not much blue to be seen. So yeah, that's the current situation out in Baku. Do you expect a new track record tomorrow? Yes, I do. We were getting pretty close to last year's pole time, in fact, during today's FP1 session as well. So if we're getting close to the pole time in FP1, we're definitely going to beat it by the time we get to Q3. Hey, F1 Gamer, I hope you're well, good with the internet and the Wi-Fi. Indeed I am. Yeah, no, I sort of got the issues fixed. My internet provider had basically notified me after the streams finished on Saturday and Sunday. They basically sent out a couple of emails being like, oh yeah, the Wi-Fi in your region is like terrible and we're sending someone out to fix it. They still didn't fix it for like 4 days, but in the end it's been fixed now. And I did about a half an hour test of a live stream before I went live, and yeah, everything was all good. So no sort of problems there. And in terms of the F1 data stuff as well, I also figured out how to find a server that isn't lagging, and yeah, in that way, always improving, always learning, and hopefully no more issues for the streams in the future. Really want a championship battle, and it hurts to say, but Oscar needs a DNF. Yeah, I mean, that would really spice things up with with the few amount of races left to go. Norris will have to win quite a few races consecutively, with Piastri finishing second and third for this championship gap to close up. Or it could just happen in one race with a DNF. So I guess we'll see. I guess we shall see. But Piastri has been pretty consistent, pretty consistent indeed, and hasn't had a DNF in 42 Grand Prix. So that just goes to show you how good how good his consistency is. Bortoleto wasn't quickest in FP1. These orders, the order of the drivers here are according to their driver number. So Max Verstappen is number 1, so that's why he's first. Lando Norris is number 4. No one is number 2, number 3, so that's why Norris is in second place. Bortoleto is number 5, so that's why he's in third. Hadjar is number 6, so that's why he's in fourth, etc., etc., all the way down to Behrman, who is car number 87. Okay. Is the stream working this week? Indeed it is, folks. Indeed it is. We've got no drivers out onto the circuit just yet. Everyone is still sat in the pit lane because, well, I don't actually know because, but we've just got a bunch of drivers sat in the pits. I think they're just waiting around for someone else to go out first. Yeah. Can something unthinkable happen, like Hamilton winning? Well, it's Baku. We can have drivers crash out. We can have multiple DNFs, double DNFs, triple DNFs. So don't rule anything out, really. Yeah. Yeah, the drivers are sat in the garage, so we will be getting not even sat in the garage, they're sat in the car, and they've got the helmets and everything on. They're literally ready to go. They're just waiting, and there we go. Nico Hulkenberg first out onto the track. Then we got Bortoleto, and the rest of the drivers will be coming out shortly. All right, this is the first time we're actually seeing any tyres apart from the softs. For the entire FP1 session, it was just soft tyres. Nobody went out on the mediums, and it looks like Hulkenberg and Bortoleto are going to be experimenting on these medium tyres. The first drivers to experiment on these tyres, and the big question for them will be, do they want to use these tyres for qualifying? Because the C6s, which is the tyres that are the softs this weekend, they are maybe a little bit too soft and overheat a little bit too easily. And there is a small chance that the medium tyres might be a better qualifying tyre, because you've got to remember, this year's medium tyres are last year's soft tyres, and yeah, last year's soft tyres were the ones that we used for quali. Those were the ones that were used to set the pole time. So they're not really slow tyres by any stretch of the imagination, and maybe it'll work for them. I think track temperature will have to go up for that to happen. If it's 32 degrees Celsius, I think the C6s will be able to cope. But if it goes up to 40, 45, then the medium tyres are the way forward. But I don't know how the teams are going to deal with that, because they don't have that many sets of mediums to go qualifying on them. Yeah. Volume very low. I just realised I was holding my mic a little bit further away than I normally do. So I fixed that. Okay. But yeah, we're getting everyone out onto the circuit now. Albon, the first driver out on hard tyres, actually. The teams have only got actually 2 sets of hard tyres. So if Albon does multiple laps on these sets of hards, then he might be compromising his race strategy, actually, because he will not have a fresh set of hards to use during the race. So we'll see what Mr. Alex Albon does. But everyone sort of nicely spread out really on this circuit. We've still got, quite a few drivers just making their way out of the pit lane now. And yeah, it's a long enough circuit, actually. I think it's around 6 kilometers or so. So you spread 20 drivers across 6 kilometers. Each driver's got about 300 meters of space each. So that's, I think, pretty sufficient space to keep everyone evenly spaced out and not get too many traffic issues. Still, we do have issues with traffic, drivers complaining that other people are blocking them, especially through the castle section. The middle sector is super duper tight, and it's just much easier to just not be in the middle sector when someone's doing a fast lap. But of course, that's not how it's going to happen. You have to drive through the middle sector. So it will be interesting to see what the drivers do and how they go about how they sort of go about that, and avoiding blocking everyone. But Lawson is currently fastest in the first sector. Pretty nicely done there from him. Hulkenberg goes quickest in the middle sector on a set of medium tyres as well. But also Hulkenberg is the first driver to actually do a proper flying lap, so that's probably why he's gone purple. How much time for the pit stop? I'll get that stat once we get closer to the race. I don't have that on my off the top of my head right now. A 1:44.2 from Nico Hulkenberg. Very nice. F1 Gamer, do you watch Rick's F1 Addiction? I saw his video pop up on my YouTube homepage just now as I was loading up my laptop. So the one about Lewis Hamilton or something. So I might give it a watch, but I don't know. I don't watch all of his videos, but sometimes. Oh, we got a yellow flag. Who's that? Lawson stopped at turn 15. I think he's managed to get going again because they've. Oh no, he's still got a yellow. I think it's just the escape road, really, for Liam Lawson. Yeah, track clear. He's managed to get going now. Down the escape road he went. And that's the other thing, folks. If you go down the escape road, brings out the yellow flag, everyone has to go slowly. And if they go slowly, that means their lap's ruined, pretty much. I mean, obviously, you know, if you drive slowly, your lap is ruined. Like, Will Buxton moment right there. But yeah, that's another thing you've got to be wary of. You know, here in Baku, track evolution is a really big factor. So sometimes you want to be right at the back of the pack and say, oh, I'm going to go right at the back. I'm going to have the best possible track conditions. I'm going to get a slipstream, etc., etc. But then you run the risk of a driver ahead of you bringing out the yellow flag, you know, sending it into an escape road, and then you're not able to improve, and that's your qualifying ruined. So it's a tough one to sort of balance properly. Hadjar purple in the final sector after getting a nice tow. We've got another yellow flag waving around this time. Where is that? No, it's clear anyway. It doesn't matter. Albon up into second place. Very nicely done. All right, yeah, that was that most recent yellow flag I think was Lewis Hamilton. Just got the replay here. Hamilton locked up. But it is what it is. You know, it's practice for a reason. The drivers can make some mistakes and then they can continue on. All right, you know what I'll do? I shall take you through a lap of the circuit. Where is... Here we go. All right. So you make your way down the start-finish straight here. The big thing here is you're losing a lot of tire temperature actually. As you're just blasting down the straight, the track is cooling off your tires, and bit of a problem really. You don't want to get front locking as you go in towards turn number 1, but you hit this first apex nicely and just get a close enough exit. You don't need to get too close to the barriers. This corner though, this is slow in, fast out. Do the exact opposite of what I've just done, because I've just done fast in, slow out. And yeah, so you continue on down this. You got DRS, of course, through to here. You can get some pretty good overtakes actually done in towards turn number 3, especially on the opening lap. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that one. Turn 4, you navigate that one nicely, and then you don't need the perfect exit out of there because you've got a corner approaching very, very shortly. Through there, you want to miss that curb on the inside because it is actually quite bouncy. It'll throw you off a little bit. This is where Hamilton locked up, so he's just going on around about here is when he locks up, and then he decides, I'm not going to make this corner, it's better off to just go down the escape road. So he pulled off to the left hand side. Yeah. And then you continue on through the castle section, super duper tight, 7.6 meters wide at its narrowest. I don't know what's going on with Sonoda and why it says top, but we're having some GPS glitches, as is standard with the FIA, to be honest. You continue on down towards turn 16, and this corner here, this is where Max Verstappen was complaining that the rear of his car was literally coming off the ground because it was bouncing about too much. I think that's Max's GPS again. Yeah, just drivers going slowly. What I was saying is that yeah, there's quite a few bumps actually on the braking zone of this corner, and Max was saying that the rear of his car was just lifting up as he was getting on the brakes, which of course is not something that you want to see happen. And yeah, he locked up his tires in fact in Q1 in FP1 because of that mistake, and ended up down the escape road. So We'll see how it works out for him. Leclerc across the line, first position, really nice job there. Verstappen, I think, starts a flying lap. Yes, he does. Here comes Lewis Hamilton. It's third position for him, still 3/4 of a second back from his teammate, but he's on the mediums. Leclerc is on the softs. Here comes Lando Norris. What's it for him? First position by a huge margin. Actually, wait, not a huge margin, by 8 milliseconds. He's quicker than Charles Leclerc, so Leclerc is right on it. I was comparing himself to Piastri. Piastri is back by quite a huge margin. 1.1 seconds is the gap between Piastri and Norris. Yeah, he's going to have to do something to close that one up, isn't he? Okay, but that was a fresh set of tyres there for Norris. You've got to keep that in mind. Piastri's coming out on a used set. Oh yeah, let's continue on with the lap. I sort of just paused it halfway through. You continue on through lap turn number 15, and then you head towards 16. 16, just your main thing here, get a good exit. Don't start drifting over this curb here. Sainz, this was the curb, this was the problem. Sainz drove over the curb, a little piece of carbon fell off the bottom of his floor, and onto the ground it went. So that's what brought out the red flag in FP1. Don't want to be drifting over that curb. It does cost you a lot of lap time because you're flat for the next, well, 2 kilometers or so. And then yeah, that's just the lap of the circuit, really. You head down the main straight, just minimise the distance to the line, and you're looking at lap times around the 1:40 mark. Okay, we've got Albon up into 4th position, very nicely done. He's also on a set of hard tyres, so very good job there from Alex Albon. His final sector of 24.8, pretty nice to say the least. Verstappen on his flying lap, he went up into 3rd position, 3/10 off the back of Lando Norris. And once again, those tyres were 1 lap old when Verstappen came out of the pits on them, I think. Or he'd done 1 extra warm-up lap or cool-down lap or something along those lines, because yeah, he's got 4 laps worth of tyre wear on his tyres, and he's just come across the line. So still some more pace left for Max Verstappen. Also, I don't know why the GPS is having issues today, but in towards turn number 15 and 16, for some reason it says the drivers have stopped, even though they clearly haven't stopped, but whatever. Williams are cooking, indeed they are. Williams are looking really good. Long straight lines will be the benefit of Max. Yeah, Max has had the habit of running the lowest possible downforce levels he can get away with to get good performances out of his Red Bull that isn't so quick. You know, he did it at Silverstone, and he ended up with that amazing pole position lap. But then, of course, the low downforce setup with rain on Sunday didn't really mix well, and he made a mistake, and off he went. In Monza, however, that low downforce setup really paid off, and well, very fantastic performance. We'll see if he can do it again. Albon and Sainz right next to each other. Also, the gap between Albon and Sainz was only 1/10 of a second or so, and Sainz is on the mediums and Albon's on the hard. So, really good job there from Albon, closing that gap up to his teammate, even though he's on the slower tyres. Leclerc purple in the first sector. Looks like he's not settling for 2nd position, and he's going to push onwards to try and get first. He's only 8 milliseconds back, so it should be not too difficult. He goes 78 milliseconds quicker in the first sector compared to Norris. Okay, Liam Lawson as well. Fantastic job from him. 5th position. Really good job, because his teammate Isaac Hadjar is quite a ways down, actually. Yeah, I think Charles Leclerc is going to stop pole position. In fact, Hamilton goes purple in the first sector. He just takes that away from his teammate. So the Ferrari's looking good in the first sector, maybe, or is it they're just looking good all around? Don't know what's going on, but Leclerc just goes purple in the 2nd sector as well. Ferrari are looking good, all right. So he comes out of turn number 20. He is a little bit too far back from Bortoleto to get a meaningful tow. He'll get a little bit, a few extra kilometers here or there. But Leclerc comes across the line, and he goes clear of Lando Norris by 0.4 of a second. Really nice job, but it doesn't matter because Lewis Hamilton is on a mega lap. He goes purple in the first sector, purple in the 2nd sector, and now he has got no one ahead of him. Alonso gets out of the way, so no tow for Lewis Hamilton. He blasts down the main straight. What is it going to be for him? And, well, here he comes then. Across the line, he opens the DRS as well. And it is for Oh, it's second position. I was about to say first, but he's a tenth and a half back, and he lost more than a tenth and a half in that final sector. I don't know if his exit out of turn number 16 wasn't good enough, but yeah, Hamilton, still, regardless, a very, very good lap. But he is a tenth and a half back from his teammate, and he's on medium tyres as well. So if he was on softs, he would be right up there. 2 tenths down without a toe. Yeah, that was one thing. Of course, he didn't get a toe, and I think also on the his exit out of 16 wasn't the most perfect exit that he could have got. But Hammer Time is back, maybe. Hammer Time may be back. Charles Leclerc, oh my God, pushing that car right to the limit. He kissed the barriers there on the exit of turn number 3. Just a little tap there, and the rear suspension holds up just fine with that one. But Leclerc pushing that car to the limit, and it's only FP2. Hadjar improves up into 4th position. As I was saying before, you know, the gap between Lawson and Hadjar was big, and Hadjar is, well, it looks like he heard me because he's now ahead of his teammate, and he's about 2 tenths clear as well. Antonelli improves up into 9th. Russell as well, he's got to improve now. His first sector wasn't so good, but we'll see what he can do in the middle sector. Okay. Got an onboard here of Pierre Gasly pushing pretty hard, actually, in towards turn number 15 and 16. Just gets ahead of Charles Leclerc on the left-hand side of traffic, and now he makes his way out through the final couple of corners. The Alpine is really down on horsepower, and well, their lap times are sort of reflecting it, isn't it? They're a full second down on Hamilton's. Yeah, Gasly is 1 full second down just in the first sector alone, because of, well, just lack of top speed, really. Gasly comes across the line, it's 16th for him, 2 seconds off the pace. Norris purple in the middle sector, so he's looking pretty good here. And it's still a fairly good mix of soft tyres, medium tyres, hard tyres. Well, actually, the only hard tyre runner we've got is Alex Albon, but he's still lapping quite consistently, a 142.6. Sainz improves up into 4th position, very nicely done from Carlos Sainz. Those medium tyres are working well. And, oh, we've also got the drivers practicing their pit entry. You know, it can be make or break. The undercut around Baku is super powerful. And, you know, a good pit stop, a good entry into the pit lane can be make or break, whether you get the undercut to work or whether you get overtaken in the pits. So, yeah, we've got the drivers also attacking into the pit lane as well now. The gloves are really coming off. Oh, yeah, we just had a replay here from Alex Albon. A huge tank slap, a huge drift on the exit of turn number 16 on those hard tyres. They might not be the grippiest things in the world, but the downforce levels that the Williams team is running is also not helping him so much. Oh, we've got, it says Piastri is stopped, but Piastri's just making his way down the straight. I don't know why it says that he's stopped, even though he's clearly driving. And there we go, it's working again. Okay. Alright, folks, that has been the first 20 minutes of practice then. Fairly exciting, to be honest. And quite a good mix, actually. These medium tyres look to be pretty good compared to the softs, you know? Like, I'm sure at the start of the lap, the softs are quicker, but then as the overheating issues become more and more prevalent in these softs, the medium tyres might actually, well, seem to be the better option, really. Or they seem to be not that far off, at least. That's the big one. And Fernando Alonso here getting a mega toe from Alex Albon. Here he comes across the line, does Fernando Alonso, with the slipstream and the DRS. What's that final sector looking like for Alonso? 24.783. He's still, what's that? He's a quarter of a second slower than Leclerc in the final sector, and Alonso got a mega toe. Like, he was tucked right into the slipstream and still still a lot slower than the Ferrari. Hamilton's pushing here, folks. He's pushing, still on a set of medium tyres. He's half a second clear of Charles Leclerc as he exits turn number 16 now. We'll see what he can do. He's purple in the first, green in the second. Norris is purple in the middle, but of course didn't improve on that lap overall. And here comes Lewis Hamilton across the line, and it is first position, ladies and gentlemen. Hammer Time is back, and he's a quarter of a second clear of his teammate. Fantastic from Lewis. All right. Piastri's on a flying lap here. We'll see what Piastri can do. Looks like Piastri's actually coming into the pit lane. Never mind. Yeah, McLaren do this. They do 2 hot laps, and then on the third one, they do the entire thing, and then they abort it. So, I guess we'll find out what Piastri's theoretical best lap time would be. Actually, I've got it right here. Piastri's theoretical best lap time would put him in 3rd position, actually. Yeah, if Piastri didn't abort that final lap and just come into the pits, he would have ended up in 3rd position ahead of his teammate by 0.2 of a second, 0.3 of a second. So, pretty good there from Piastri, even on a used set of tyres as well. Improving very well. It's just practice, yeah, folks. You do have to remember it is just practice after all. At the end of the day, Leclerc over the radio again saying I touched the barriers quite hard. Leclerc is really pushing this one, and yeah, we did. As we saw in Monza, Ferrari were 1-2 in the practice, and yeah, we know how that turned out during the race. So let's not get too carried away. But who knows what will happen? Do we still have the Ferrari meme on hotkey? Indeed we do, folks. Indeed we do. Let me find it. It is here, I think. Yeah, there we go. So, we are back. We are back, Ferrari. We'll see when this meme becomes applicable next. Let's just get rid of that. When is quali tomorrow? It is the exact same time as it is right now. So, the free practice 2 started 20 minutes ago. So yeah, whatever time it is in the world right now for you guys, if you go back 20 minutes, that is when qualifying starts tomorrow. Can Hadjar break the second seat curse? Well, I think if he starts in 2026, he might be able to break the second seat curse, mainly because Red Bull will actually care about their second driver, because they know that if they don't focus at least a decent amount of attention to their number 2 driver and what their feedback is about the car, they're not really going to get anywhere. So I think Tsunoda will do a pretty decent job developing the car, and he's going to give a lot of input and sort of say, oh yeah, I find this is a little bit more drivable, I can deal with this better, or whatever. Tsunoda will make sure that he can at least drive the car, and if he can drive the car, then he hasn't got such an extreme driving style like Max Verstappen does, so most of the other drivers on the rest of the grid should be able to adapt and cope with the Red Bull. But it'd be a little bit unfortunate for Tsunoda to spend all of 2025 developing the car, doing simulator work, doing test driver work, and then just getting kicked out in 2026 for Isaac Hadjar to drive the car. So, but Red Bull is a pretty ruthless company, and I'm sure they don't really care. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Yeah, everyone's sat in the pit lane. Actually, we've done 20 minutes of quick laps, and then everyone's in the pits. Interesting. Okay. I think that's it really. Well, if you've got any questions or anything in the chat, be sure to let me know, because I've just taken you. Actually, I'll take you through another lap of the circuit, going a little bit more in detail about the things that I know. I don't know everything about this circuit. Of course, I haven't driven it myself, but I shall take you through some details while nobody is out on track, because the F1 teams like to be boring, shall we say? So the main thing around here is keep your tyre temperatures up, keep your brake temperatures up. It's quite difficult though, because at this point in the lap, even if your tyres are sort of overheating, you're 110 degrees Celsius on your tyre surface temperature. As you blast down this straight now, you're flat for 2 kilometers straight. Okay. And what that does is you can drop your temperature from 110 degrees down to 70 degrees Celsius on the surface. Pirelli, the Pirelli technical guys have said the drivers have lost at worst case scenario, 40 degrees of tire temperature just going down the straight. That means locking up into turn number 1 is actually quite straightforward, well, not quite straightforward, it's just, very easily possible if you're not paying attention, if you're not doing the right things. Same thing for your brake ducts as well. Oh, I don't know why I just pressed the wrong button. Same thing for your brake ducts as well, because your brake ducts, they're really hot at the start of turn 16, but then for 2 kilometers straight, you are just getting cold air getting thrown into them at 200 miles an hour. So that cools them down quite a bit, again, locking up quite easy. But you've got a lot of runoff there on the exit turn number 1, so the drivers do tend to cope with it all right. Then into this corner, just smooth in, fast, slow in, fast out. And the other thing is that you just want to, well, on the opening lap at least, stay out of trouble at this corner, because it's very easy for a little bit of contact to result in 2 cars, 3 cars in the barrier. So you don't want to be sending one down the inside, like we've seen a couple on a couple of few occasions before. Same thing for turn 3 as well. This is where it normally all kicks off. The drivers are slipstreaming each other for quite a while in towards this braking zone, braking at the 100-meter mark. But on the opening lap, their tires aren't up to temperature. Their brakes really aren't up to temperature. And, if you misjudge it a little bit, off you go into the barriers. Or, well, not into the barriers. Off you go driving into someone else most likely. And then they go into the barriers and so do you. Not ideal, to say the least. Then you continue on through the, you're sort of going through the inner city section now, like all of the old sort of buildings, and then you get towards the castle as well, a little bit later on. This part of the circuit, very tight and twisty. You want also traffic here. It's quite difficult. You have to stay off the racing line here, so you can stay off to the right-hand side, but then what you need to do is ideally just not be here. Like, traffic in this part of the circuit is just a really big headache, a really big problem for the drivers. And on a slow lap, quite often what the drivers will do is they'll just drive at a normal speed through here, get out of the dangerous, like, sort of difficult to pass zone, and then they'll wait over on the left hand side or on the right hand side of this part of the circuit. Yeah, and just aim to get a good exit really out of here. You can run all the way out to the barriers. The painted white line isn't really going to stop you there. You can go all the way as far as you can, and then you continue on towards turn 16 here. The bumps on the braking zone are a big problem. You can sometimes even feel it on the force feedback in the F1 game itself. I'm not sure if it's in the new game, but it definitely was in the older games, and the bumps are quite annoying on the game and even in real life for the drivers, as Max Verstappen found out in FP1. And then you got turn 16 here, just, well, a good exit. That's the only thing you can ask for. It doesn't matter if you brake early, you just need a good exit, because, well, you're flat for the next 2 kilometers. Or nearly 30 seconds, like the lap is 100 seconds, 60 seconds for 1 minute, and then add on a 40 seconds on. So you've got a lap that is 100 seconds long, and you're flat for about 30, 40 seconds. That is, well, it's quite important to get a good exit, isn't it? All right, we've got drivers back out onto the circuit. Fantastic. How do you watch the Formula 1 for free? Well, I can't tell you for free, but I can tell you for $2 a month, you can get Surfshark VPN, and then you join an Austrian VPN server. And once you've done that, you can Google ORF F1, and then as long as you join the Austrian VPN server, and then you can Google it, and you can watch Formula 1. Yeah, we've got quite a few people in the chat using it to watch Formula 1, so yeah, it does work. And would like to point out the commentary is in German, so if you don't understand German, you just mute the coverage, listen to me instead. And if for whatever reason, if it doesn't work, you can always just go get a refund, so not too much of a problem. Okay, also folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It goes a long way to helping out the channel and the algorithm and stuff like that. If you were watching in the Monza stream, we had quite a bad weekend, shall we say, with Wi-Fi issues and technical issues and stuff like that. So it'd be good to have a few more likes on the stream to get the algorithm going. Okay. What else have we got going on then? So, yeah, all of the drivers now making their way out onto the circuit. In fact, the only two drivers currently in the pits are Russell and Hamilton. Fix your audio, dude. I apologize. You're having some audio issues, but I think it's sort of a YouTube-wide problem that normally the adverts are just super loud. My audio is, I'm doing my best to sort of keep it at a reasonable level. I'm not trying to go overly loud, but I think it's fine for most people. All right. I have actually got some settings that I found out about like a couple days ago that might be able to increase the volume a little bit. So I shall play around with them, folks, and see what works and see what doesn't. Colapinto up into 14th position, nicely done there from Franco Colapinto. And yeah, we got the rest of the drivers now starting their flying laps. And it looks to be majority of the drivers out on fresh sets of softs. Yeah, fresh sets of soft. Norris is out on a U set. But apart from that, everyone else that is out, fresh set of soft tyres or fresh set of medium tyres, to do some more quali sims by the looks of it. Norris Norris got very close to the barrier actually. Quite the big impact. But he's back out on track, so it's doesn't seem to be too bad. He is driving. Oh wait, no, is he driving slowly? Oh, has Norris ruined his car? He is driving extremely slowly. It looks like he did actually damage his rear suspension. And we've got a yellow flag at a different part of the circuit, never mind. But Norris driving slowly, and I think that might be due to his... Yeah, he's got suspension problems. Norris has got suspension problems, broken his car. Oh, not ideal, not ideal. Surely they... Like, why don't they put yellow flags out for Norris now if he's going slowly and can't control his car properly? Well, okay, the FIA never stops to amaze me, but regardless, Norris, quite the bad impact with his car, and yeah, he's now crawling back to the pits in second gear. Bit of an issue, really, because the way that these cars work, so... in your standard road car, you have a chassis, and then all of the parts, the doors, the seats, the engine, all of that stuff is mounted on to the chassis, the wheels, etc., etc. In Formula One, you have got a chassis for where the driver sits, but then behind the driver, sort of towards the rear of the car, the chassis stops early. And that's for weight reduction purposes. You just cut the chassis off, and then what you do is your gearbox, your rear wing, and your rear drive axle, those three things sort of combine to become your load-bearing, sort of fake chassis, shall we say. And then what that means is if you damage your rear, drive shaft, or if you damage your... rear suspension arms and stuff like that, that impact can carry on through towards your gearbox, towards your rear wing. Now, of course, his rear wing is fine. It's a bit of carbon fiber. It's not going to be the end of the world. But a big impact on the gearbox could spell issues later on. He's driven back in second gear for the entire lap. That might be because gearbox issues. Much more likely, it's just because he's not actually going that quickly. So there's no reason to shift into higher gears. But the McLaren team will have to check to see if that gearbox is still going to be intact, because you do get big impacts. Sometimes, the impact you can get a big impact, but if it's in the right area, you can get away with it and no sort of issues. But you can have a small impact, and if it's in the wrong area, then your gearbox can be cooked, and you're going to have to get a replacement, and you're going to get a grid penalty, etc., etc. So Norris is made it back to the pits now, and we'll see how that works out for him. Okay. Not ideal, really. Though not ideal there for Lando. See how it goes. We'll find out in the press conferences afterwards. They'll say, but currently they're just wheeling the car back into the garage, and they're going to figure out how to take off this wheel properly, make sure not to damage any other part of the car. And Norris can still go out onto the circuit, because he technically didn't DNF. He just drove back to the pits. He should be fine. But I think that repair job might take a little bit longer than 25 minutes. Why is Oscar going slow today? Well, he's not going that slow. And the other thing is, he's also just doesn't want to damage the car. That's a big thing. Norris, it's not the end of the world for him. because he'll lose out on 25 minutes or so of running, but he'll still have FP3 tomorrow. Leclerc purple in the first sector, fresh set of softs. Looks like Leclerc's going for the quickest lap time here, but Hamilton also a couple of purple mini sectors to his name. We'll find out which driver comes out on top. Okay. Here comes Hamilton. Then yeah, through the first sector, he's actually 2/10 down. In fact, a tenth slower than his personal best. So yeah, Hamilton lost a little bit of lap time there. Charles Leclerc now heading towards turn number 16. Nicely done from the Monegasque, and yeah, he's just coming down the start-finish straight now. And Leclerc been pretty smooth on the power as well, I've got to say. None of these cars are particularly stable when you're on the limit of grip. If your car seems stable, you're not driving it quick enough, and that's typically how it goes in Formula One. But Leclerc extremely smooth on the throttle, and well, that's just put him up into first position, 2/10 clear of his teammate. Nicely done, nicely done indeed. Oscar, we need you to crash. It's only fair. Oh, that's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. Yeah. Oh, Oscar, we need you to get a new gearbox, because Lando crashed his car and broke his gearbox. Oh my god, it's only 2 milliseconds off last year's pole. Yeah, it is. And it's free practice too. Wow, we are really going to destroy last year's pole time. If we're here in free practice 2 and we're 2 milliseconds away from last year's pole, we are going to be, yeah, probably down in the 1 minute 40s. Maybe, yeah, low 1 minute 40s probably. Very nice, very nice. And of course, the last year's pole was also set by Charles Leclerc himself. So he's the only driver that's managed to get close to him at his own lap time. All right. So funny, you all seem to forget Hungary 24. No, we do remember Hungary 24, and of course, it was obviously Norris did a very nice thing to swap around there, and that was Oscar Piastri's reasoning. Piastri's reasoning was, in Hungary 2024, I got a slow pit stop, but you still asked Norris to swap around for the team and for the driver, so I could get my win, and that's why Piastri was like, okay, because you did that in Hungary last year, this time around I'm going to give Norris because he got a slow stop. So yeah, that's the thing. But of course, I'm saying it as a joke. There are a lot of memes flying around after that Monza situation, shall we say. All right. Nice. Hamilton's looking good actually now in the first sector. So let's see what he can do on this lap. He might get a toe off Gasly, or maybe Gasly's going to get out of the way. We'll see. Anything interesting happening? Well, it's a free practice session. We're not going to have the most interesting in the world. George Russell's just improved actually up into third position. Very nicely done there from George. That probably happened about a minute ago, but I've just noticed Hamilton now comes across the line. What's it going to be? He got a great toe from from Gasly the entire way down the straight. He's only second fastest though down the speed traps, down the final sector. Sorry, the final sector. I'd also like to point out, folks. The final sector is literally just a straight. Like, if you ignore turn 16, this is flat, and then you're just straight. So, turn 16, the final sector times here, they're all just a reflection of how good your exit is out of turn 16, and then how good of a toe do you get from the driver ahead of you. That is all the final sector is. Oh my god, Oliver Behrman, 4th position, wow. On a set of medium tyres as well. That is fantastic from Ollie. He's raced there before in Formula 2, so that's definitely helping him out. But some very nice performance there from Oliver Behrman. Okay. Alpine are terrible here, yeah, 19th and 20th position, not much to be seen from them. Piastri also, he's still got some more improving to do, really. I don't know what's happened to him. Is he aborted quite a few laps, or his lap time's just not good enough? But yeah, he's on quite an old set of soft tyres now. Would have expected at least 2 laps from him. Oh, we got a yellow flag somewhere. That's Bortoletto at turn 4, but there is an escape road. So let's see if he's down the escape road or if he is, in fact, crashed into the barriers. Nope, he's down the escape road and he's come back out. All good. There for Gabriel Bortoletto. F1 Gamer, who do you think will be more remember, the 2025 World Drivers' Championship battle or the Papaya Rules? Oh no, it'll be the World Drivers' Championship battle, because I definitely do think in the next 7 races or so it will still kick off between these 2 drivers. Like, yes, right now they're playing it all. Oh, we're gonna be nice to each other. We're all gonna be fair and whatever. But when there's like 4 races left to go, 5 races left to go, and let's say Piastri does DNF, and the gap is only like 6 points in the championship. Nobody's listening to Papaya Rules at that point. Nobody cares. Like, they're all fighting for the champion. They're both fighting for the championship, and Papaya Rules will go flying out the window at some point. It just hasn't happened yet. Normally, it happens a lot earlier on, but for whatever reason, McLaren are doing a pretty good job at managing the tension between the 2 drivers. How's Ferrari's long runs? Well, we haven't actually seen that many long runs really this for whatever reason. Because yeah, just majority soft tire runs, to be honest, haven't we? Soft tires or medium tire runs. So I don't know for a fact really what the long run pace is of the Ferrari, because in FP1 we genuinely, no driver ever left the pits on a set of medium tires or hard tires. Everyone was just out on the softs because well, they were testing out the new soft tires as well. That was one thing. So we have no sort of idea really of what the pace is like on the long runs. You can sort of connect the short run pace to the long run pace, and I'll get some stats up for you guys for FP3 and for quali. But yeah, as of right now, don't really know. But also the drivers, you can see a majority of them are in the pits now, so they've done a lot of quali sims already. So I have a feeling they're now going to come out on mediums and hards, and they're going to be going to the end of this session doing their long runs. So maybe we'll get the answer in 20 minutes time. Ilyas Sefani, thank you for the channel membership. Really is appreciated, buddy. Welcome to the points finish membership channel, membership tier, I don't know. But yeah, goes a long way to helping out the channel, and hope to see you around. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay. I drive a Beamer. We need a BMW in Formula 1. Yeah, we do actually. We need a BMW in Formula 1. Oh, Russell purple in the first sector. Antonelli is up into 4th. Mercedes have kicked it up into a high gear, haven't they? It'd be pretty cool to see BMW in Formula 1, to be honest. They are quite the historic car brand, aren't they? Yeah, just got to make sure that they have enough blinker fluid in Formula 1, because I find that's a problem in normal day-to-day driving, BMWs have run out of blinker fluid, if you sort of get what I'm saying. Anyway, we've got Piastri. Again, he improves a little bit, but still not enough. He's still 9/10 off the back of Charles Leclerc. Is Norris back yet? No, Norris is still in the pits. It looks like he's going to be in the pits till the end of the session. I don't think they're fixing those suspension issues soon enough. Yeah, fastest in the first sector, we got George Russell. Fastest in the second sector, we got Lando Norris. And fastest in the final sector, we got Liam Lawson. The final sector really is just a function of how good your toe is, to be honest. Like, if you get a really, really good toe, then you're going to be fastest in the final sector, and I think that's what Liam Lawson did. Also, folks, be sure to hit the like button. It goes a long way to helping out the channel. Really is appreciated. Yeah. We are getting close to 1,000 likes. Actually, I think we haven't got so many people watching this week's Grand Prix, but this week's stream, mainly because it's at a bit of an awkward time, to be honest. It's a little bit earlier than it typically is. Typically, we've got free practice 2 probably starting about this point, or maybe starting in an hour's time, but. Anyway, coming down the start-finish straight, it looks like the Ferraris are driving in formation, giving each other a tow or something. Well, Leclerc dives into the pits. Hamilton gets a nice run to start off his flying lap by the looks of it. Yeah. F1 Gamer, thoughts on Porsche or Yamaha maybe joining Formula 1? In the future by any chance? I'm delusional. Well, Porsche does a lot of motorsport stuff. Yamaha, not so much, I don't think. So, yeah, Porsche may join. It would be pretty cool, but not 100% sure if that would. If Yamaha did used to take part, actually. There used to be a Yamaha V10 engine. I think it was the Yamaha Tyrrell, if I remember correctly, but that was a long, long time ago. If Yamaha could just get involved and make some good exhaust systems for Formula One cars, that would also help. That would make things pretty good, but not really sure, to be honest. Not sure. How many years till we see a 12th F1 team? Well, you've got to think who's really going to be joining at that point, and well, Cadillac have joined, sort of. So I don't really know who else is shown interest. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, Audi are taking over Sauber next year, so Audi are going to be in the Audi are in Formula One next year, aren't they? Hamilton improves, gets ahead of Leclerc on this occasion. I was maybe I'm mistaken actually. I was saying that Leclerc's going to destroy Hamilton this weekend, or maybe not destroy him, just beat him by a significant chunk, because Leclerc's very good around the circuit, but Hamilton is putting up a pretty solid fight actually. He goes a quarter of a tenth quicker than Charles Leclerc on that previous lap. Who knows? Toyota could join. Toyota do a bunch of endurance stuff now. They're what was it? The Toyota Gazoo Racing or something like that. In endurance racing, they're pretty good. And oh yeah, Hamilton also broke the lap record and the pole time from last year, so he goes quicker than last year's pole time. Fantastic! I think this is actually the first weekend this season that we've had the pole time broken in a free practice session. I think that's also the one thing that's contributing that to one thing that is contributing a lot to that. Oh my god, I'm having a bit of an off day here for commentary, but the big thing that's made that happen is the fact that I think last year out in Baku we had track temperatures up at 50 degrees for quali, so it was super duper hot, whereas now we're down at track temperatures of 30 degrees, so that your tires don't overheat as much, so you can push harder and longer, and yeah, that's how you end up going quicker, obviously. So that, I think, has been the big sort of factor. I think if track temperatures were up 20 degrees and we were at 50 degrees Celsius overall, we would not be breaking the pole time from last year. All right. Please fill up the Ferrari meme. Yeah. Let's pull it up. There we go. Yeah, I mean, they're still 1-2 now. It's a Ferrari 1-2, Mercedes 3-4. What are we, back in 2018 or something? Like, what's going on? F1 Gamer just came now due to a trip. Can you summarize FP1? Well, FP1 we had about half an hour of a red flag caused to because there was like a curb that was loose or something. I'm not 100% sure. And then apart from that, we had a pretty smooth sailing. Some lockups here and there and stuff like that, but nothing really major in FP1. And just one big surprise was that we only saw soft tires. Not a single person used mediums or hards in FP1. But that was about it. In FP2, we've had Lando Norris crash into the barrier, damage his suspension, and then he's currently sat in the pit lane getting that fixed. But I don't think he's going to be leaving with only 10 minutes left on the clock. And we've had a fair amount of soft runs at the start of the session now, and it looks like we're going to be settling down for the long runs. As you can see here, we got Lawson out on 7-lap-old mediums, we got Albon out on 11-lap-old hards, so we're getting the long runs done towards the end of the free practice 2 session. Okay. Love that we can see the top 3 best sector times now. Yeah, I think it's just a little bit more helpful. I think it also works a little bit better because Baku is a very sort of rectangular circuit here. You know, like it fits on the screen quite nicely. Some circuits there's just a lot of empty space around, so I have to end up only putting 2 of the fastest sectors. But I think this way it works a little bit better. And oh, we got another yellow flag on the circuit. Where is that? That is. Oh, Behrman at turn number 9, 10, and 11, but it's green flag. He continues going. He reverses. In fact, this is the... we're actually getting the biggest use of the reverse gear in Formula 1 cars all season long. These reverse gears barely ever get used because the drivers most of the time can just do a quick 360 or 180 and get going again on the circuit when they go off the track. But... yeah, here in Baku, it's so tight. The drivers can't actually do a 180 just using like a quick handbrake turn or anything. They have to just reverse out of it. So that's why we've got a reverse gear in Formula 1 cars. Hi, F1 Gamer. How many tyre compounds do the teams get for the race weekend? Well, it changes each weekend, but this weekend I think the teams have 2 sets of hard tyres from Pirelli, 3 sets of mediums, and 8 sets of softs, if I remember correctly. So that is the tyre allocation from Pirelli this weekend. Why does McLaren always try to go slow in F3 practices? It's not really that they're trying to go slow. They turn down their engine modes a lot more than everyone else in free practices, which I think is why they sort of avoided the issues of the Mercedes power unit for quite a while now. You know, of course, Norris did have his issues, but... the McLarens turn down the engine mode just to prevent wear. They know they're in a championship fight and they know both drivers don't really want a DNF, so they turn the engine modes down, and it's pretty standard really. So you can look there at the top speeds. Piastri 322, Norris 322. They're both 19th and 20th through the speed trap. It's a pretty clear indication they're not going quick, and they're just doing that because it doesn't really matter right now, does it? In FP3, they will turn up the engine mode so the drivers can sort of get in the rhythm and the flow of things for quali. And yeah, and then they'll be fine once the race gets underway and once quali gets underway. Weather forecast. The weather forecast is still dry all weekend long. However, it is going to get a lot more windy. Right now, you can see the wind speed is 2.5 kilometers per hour. But later on in the weekend, it is looking like it's going to get a little bit more windy, and that's going to affect things depending on, you know, which direction the wind's getting blown from. Okay. F1 Gamer, can we see a lap around the circuit? Sure, why not? We've got 6 minutes left on the clock. Everyone's doing long runs anyway, so doesn't really matter. All right, here we go. Let's just make this a little bit smaller. All right, lap around the circuit. So, main thing here, just super duper smooth on your steering inputs. Minimize the number of bumps that you drive over, and just straight line it really. If there's a draft that you can catch onto from the driver ahead of you, try and follow that. And in towards turn number 1 you go. You're braking around the 120 meter mark here because you're carrying a lot of speed, so you brake nice and early, and just get a good exit really. You don't want to run too wide, and even just get your rear snapping out actually can compromise you quite significantly. If I just rewind a couple of seconds there, right? So let's say you're at this point here and your rear snaps out. The rear of your car just smashes into that barrier and it's game over. So you do have to be extremely careful with those kind of things, and when you're getting onto power anywhere really in Baku, because you have no margin for error. Same thing here, slow in, fast out, open your DRS flap, and try to get an overtake done on the opening lap. That's going to be the main thing. Opening lap, probably second, third lap as well, you can make some overtakes. Then in towards turn number 3 here, don't send one down the inside if you're way too far back, because it's just going to result in a crash and a safety car, maybe even a red flag probably. Then all the way out to the barriers on the left. You know, in Baku, there's no such thing as track limits apart from turn number 16. Every other corner, you just go all the way up to the wall, because that's how you get the quickest possible lap time. And yeah, again, just flowing. These sort of 90-degree corners, a little bit disjointed for the drivers. This one a little bit more smooth and long. And then avoid this curb at all costs, because if you hit it, you lose your wheels, you know, come off the ground, you lose grip, and you basically just get sent flying into the wall on the left, which of course you don't want to do. Then you, through here, you can sort of cut that corner a little bit more. It does gain you a fair amount of lap time. And the FIA aren't too harsh on it. Again, the I am stupid corner, just don't be stupid. You make your way through the castle section, smooth onto the power again for turns number 13, 14 and 15. Well, 13 and 14 are all flat. 15 is the one where you've got to be careful. A lot of bumps there on the braking zone, but you try to avoid that. Shift your brake balance forward to sort of compensate, and then onto the final corner. Here you can't exceed track limits, because if you do, you will actually get your lap time deleted. But apart from that, you continue on, and that's a lap of Baku, folks. Ladies and gents, Lando Norris is in the pit lane because he crashed his car. He damaged his suspension, and that is why he's currently sat in the pits. Yeah. Okay. Things are looking good then, yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in as well. We've got 800 likes. That's fantastic. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. This is for anyone that's just tuned in. This is my 100th Grand Prix stream since I started commentating back in 2020. This is a Grand Prix number 100. It's pretty good. Having a lot of fun. So yeah, would mean a lot if you guys could hit the like button. If we hit 200k on the 100th stream itself, that would be pretty awesome. What number would you pick if you had the choice to race in Formula 1? I would pick number 95 because Lightning McQueen. Yeah, because of Lightning McQueen. Oh, Charles Leclerc is stopped, and there's a yellow flag waving at... what's going on there? Charles Leclerc is stopped. Why is Charles Leclerc stopped? Oh, he spun the car around. Okay, it's fine. Not any crash or anything like that. He just went down the escape road, so all good there for Charles Leclerc. Yeah, I'd pick number 95 really, Lightning McQueen. For the pretty much just got me into racing really. Just the Cars movie, pretty cool. Okay, a minute 30 left on the clock, not too much left to go really, and everyone's just doing their long runs. We'll have a look at the pace here. We can see Hamilton and Leclerc doing 146s Leclerc's on softs, Hamilton's on mediums. We have got the Mercedes of Russell doing 146.7, so he's going about 0.3 slower than the Ferraris in terms of race pace, and they're also about 3, 4, 5 slower in quali pace, so fair enough. Max Verstappen is doing a 149. Don't know what's going on there. Maybe he's got a bunch of fuel in his car or something, because he should not be 2 seconds, 3 seconds off the pace. Then we have got Oscar Piastri doing a 147.4, so that's a full second slower than the Ferrari. So clearly Ferrari running quite a lot less fuel than everyone else, because yeah, there's no way that they're 1 second faster than the McLarens on race pace. And yeah, Peter Akinbinu, thanks for your congratulations on your 100th Formula One stream. Thank you very much. Yeah, everyone that did say thanks, congrats and stuff in the chat very much is appreciated. Unfortunately, I'd love to read out all of your names, but I don't think the stream would end at that point, so do apologize. All right. How's the Ferrari Hamilton situation going? Well, you know, he's just up there in first position, 3/4 of a second quicker than Charles Leclerc, the driver who's got 4 consecutive pole positions here in Baku. So I would say it's going pretty well as of today. But, you know, the inevitable Ferrari meme is always here. And at some point, sooner or later, it's the inevitable will strike. It's just a question of when. So we'll see. Is Norris still in the pits? Yeah, I mean, folks, you can see here it says Norris in the pit lane. Yeah, pretty straightforward to see. All right then. The timer has hit 0. We are not getting any quick laps coming through. All the drivers are doing their long runs. They're coming back into the pits now. So I think that is all from me. So what I'm going to do now, folks, it's going to take you over to the quali stream. Qualifying is, so whatever time it is in the world right now for you guys, if you go back 1 hour, that is when qualifying starts tomorrow. So in 23 hours time, qualifying will be getting underway. I look forward to seeing you then, really. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. Hope to see you guys around for the qualifying stream. It's going to be really, really close. It may be the McLarens, it may be the Ferraris. Lewis Hamilton could get pole position. Who knows? It's all up in the air, as it always is in Baku. Yeah, have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world, folks. And I hope to see you in 23 hours for qualifying. I will also be doing FP3, and that stream is also up on the channel. But I'm just going to redirect you to the quali stream. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the reminder button. It goes a long way for the YouTube algorithm. And I shall see you in... yeah, I'll see you for the FP3 stream. Okie dokes, folks. Bye-bye.